We good? We good? We good? Hey, good morning, everybody. And again, welcome to the adventures of Scotty Armstrong. We're again back at Conservation Park at Panama City Beach, Florida. This is day 2, and it's sprinkling. It's raining, which I like because a lot of the stuff that I like to look for tends to come out when it's raining. So we are going to try again to find the American alligator. We did do good on day 1, but it was just for a quick scene, quick little moment, and we got a little baby, and he popped into the water real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some things that happened yesterday when the camera went out, and I had to use a backup. So you're going to see, I actually was coming down this trail, this awesome boardwalk right here yesterday, and I saw a baby raccoon, and he ran up one of these pond cypress trees. It was all the way up. It's like a little juvenile raccoon. It was really awesome. I also got to see a Southeastern fence lizard, which I mentioned those. Those are the lizards that blend really good into the pine bark. Really cool little lizard, and I'm gonna show you the when you come across a couple 2 or 3 foot long alligators, like a handful of them, half a dozen of them, and how close you can get. And when they get startled, they all startle like a flock. So I'm gonna show you those 3 different clips of different animals, and then after that's over, we'll come right back. All right, I'll see you in a second. Okay, welcome back. So that was the raccoon, and they have great dexterity, and they're great climbing, and the fence lizard, which their camouflage is off the chain. It's amazing. They blend so well. And then I wanted to say something about the fence lizards was, if you flip them upside down, you can see their male and female, how they differ with their markings. There is blue underneath that fence lizard, and I didn't showcase it this time, but that's a good future episode, little bit of interpretation. But the males have a whole lot of peacock looking blue underneath them, and the girls have a little bit, but the boys, they have a lot, and it's a really great way to distinguish them. And that blue gets used during the mating process. So one way I know that I have a male or a female is just how much bright peacock-looking blue is underneath the fence lizard. And then, of course, the gators. And you could see when you saw those gators before they got startled and went into the water. Our destination for today is the same spot. It's just a good proven spot. We just might get 1, we might get 10. You never know. But they live there. They had those markings down their tail. You could see that. they still have some kind of color and pattern on them when they're young, but as they age, like I said, they will turn really dark gray, kind of like a slaty dark gray, and all those markings, that camouflage that the young need to survive to get to maturity, that will fade. But they are really pretty when they're young. They got some great colors, some yellows, and some nice banding going on that they will eventually, it will fade out due to part of their maturity. So this is day 2. We're mostly just gonna do highlights. Anything that might cross our path, the camera will come back on and we'll give our best interpretation. We're still gonna try one more time to shoot for the American alligator at the very end. I'm gonna take on a different trail today. We might, this trail I'm gonna take that differs from yesterday. I've seen some feral pig in the past, so I'm hoping to get them on camera. I saw a mom with a bunch of her little piglets. That would be cool. Now, it's a invasive species. We've been talking about invasive species, but that's okay. I still think they're part of this ecosystem now, and predators can still take advantage of an invasive. They can prey upon them, and there's still a lot of exchange going on from invasive. Invasives eat and poop, and that poop still works its way. They defecate, poop, and that is still part of all the ecosystem. Can it degrade the ecosystem? Can it cause negative consequences? Again, that's a little bit subjective, but yeah, that's a big problem with invasives. They tend to cause a lot of damage and so on. But I also would like to, I'm hoping, actually I think there's even a trap for the pigs around here somewhere at the very back end. We'll see if we can find that. And then whatever might cross our path. Yesterday we had a really amazing whistling duck family cross our paths. And you might see a moccasin again. No promises. Might see another venomous type of snake, like pygmy rattlesnake. We just got to see. It's kind of off and on with sprinkling right now, so we might actually do well. We might have some animals that got woken up by the rain. They're on the move, or some animals are just going to stay in their den. And no sun, no reason to get out and sunbathe. So we'll just got to see, and whatever cool plants or fungus that might come across our way. So I'll just keep moving along, and I'll see you again when something really interesting crosses my path. See you in a bit. Old gopher tortoise hole. That would be a sight if we could find a gopher tortoise. So I kind of wanted to show you this, even though it's treated poop water. It's treated water. It is treated city water. But remember I told you Conservation Park sends the Panama City beach water to this upland, wetland. So this is one of the discharge stations, and this is just a quick look, and we got to move on. I mean, they have this is city property, and it's well fenced off, no messing with. But the water comes to these different discharge stations. It's a discharge structure. So check this out. You see that right there? That is a discharge station for treated water, and they're sprinkled. They're sprinkled all over Conservation Park, and they're on the map. And they don't want you going in. Do not go in, discharge station. But anyway, the treated water's coming here, and even though treated water has been treated, it still has a little bit of particulate matter or chemicals in it from our waste that are not really the greatest thing to be dumping into a bay, even though that's easy. So, because we know that affects the ecosystem out in the bay. So they send it up here where the wetland, the treated water comes to the wetland. The wetland takes in the treated water. It mixes with already the fairly nutrient-rich water. And as it goes to the wetland, it gets processed. It gets filtered, because that's what a wetland does. A wetland does many things, but it filters water. That type of, the watershed, that when the wetland absorbs water, brings in, it keeps the nutrients and then sends fresh water down the way, down the hill. So the treated water coming here to Conservation Park, it's not going to hurt the wetland here. It's not going to hurt the this semi-wetland flat pine land. So by spending a little extra money and time and using the science, everybody wins. The grasses, the seagrasses out in the bay win. People here now have an awesome park with trails, and there's jobs here for people to maintain these. I just saw some guys drive by that work here, very nice guys. So to maintain the discharge station. So just by listening to the science, listen to the scientists, and figuring out a good plan, you can maintain people's utilities, maintain what is needed to keep people going, because we're going to keep flushing. But also protect the environment. It's a great way to blend human society, us, with our environment. And wetlands provide ecosystem services. That's ways that they benefit humans. That's what an ecosystem service is. It's all about the human. It's ways that they benefit us. We talked about the sea dunes over at St. Andrews. That is an ecosystem service in a sense that it's protecting the beaches and everything on the inside, which if you can look at in the long run, that benefits humans. So these discharge stations at Conservation Park coming into the wetland is using its ecosystem services to help us, and it works all the way around. So I just think it's really cool. If you can find that little bit of your park that I guess it's part of the green movement, you know, like that blending of human society and environment, and that we can all live together in peace with balance, yin and yang. I mean, for real. I mean, like, there are places in the world where they are designing whole new cities with the environment in mind. I mean, like Indonesia, they have like the tree cities where the buildings have trees growing up the sides of them, and they are trying to incorporate the environment, the jungles or the forests around them, into the design of the city. When city planners design cities, I just think it's awesome. So anyway, we're still trying to hit this new trail. Might see some feral pigs, some wild boar. Might see some ducks. We just got to keep going. I just wanted to show you the discharge station because I do think that's pretty nifty that they were able to make that happen. All right, I will keep moving. Okay, we're coming up on another discharge station. As you can see, here's the wetland. The treated water comes to this one of these discharge stations and then works its way into the natural wetland. What a great system. I see a lot of birds over here. More hens, egrets, occasional alligator. Very cool spot. And it's still raining. That's okay. It's Florida. You need to just accept you're gonna get a lot of rain, but it's okay. I'd rather have a lot of rain than not have a lot of rain, because I don't do dry. I like wet, humid, good for the hair, good for the skin. I don't do dry. I did it once. That was enough. All right, very cool wetland. There's the discharge station. Let's go see if we can find an American alligator. All right. Okay, we're back. So I love the longleaf pine. It's an amazing tree. Conservation Park, this land is trying to regrow the longleaf pine. A lot of this area, after longleaf pines were lumbered, we talked about this for centuries. The slash pine was brought in for a paper crop to process for paper. It grows fast. Longleaf pine grows slow. So they're trying to get that slash pine concentration out of Conservation Park, and they're trying to bring more longleaf back in. So do you see behind me these really tall trees? That's longleaf pine, and you can tell because it's where it gets its name, longleaf, long needles. So if you see a tree, a pine tree with very long needles, like the ones right above me here, big pine cones, you most likely have a longleaf, at least in the south. You'll tell by the other pines that their needles are shorter, their shape of their pine tree, their pine cones are a little different, like smaller, rounder. The bark might be a little different. But when it comes to longleaf, you're dealing with a slow-growing tree. So if you have species that rely on them, like certain woodpeckers for nesting, it could be a long time before you see those goal animals returning to the area. So some of these baby pine trees right here, longleaf, could take a year or two of growth. Look, check this out. Do you see these guys here? Right there? That's probably 10 years of growth. So, you know, pine trees take about 100+ years to get to full maturity, like a 50, 60 foot plus tree. And then they can live obviously a lot longer than that. But to get to that size where you have these big giants where birds can get way up there in the canopy and nest, that takes a long time. So we're talking like long past when I'm gone, these babies here, as long as they're fine, the storms don't mess with them and people leave them alone, they'll just be getting to maturity long past when I'm gone. So conservation is a long-term thing. You have to plan not your generation, but the next generation and your great-grandkids' generation. So that's how you have to deal with conservation. And it's not just with plants. It's not just with animals. It's with waterways and our oceans and climate, and that's a whole thing. We can't think about just now. We got to think about 100 years from now. We got to think about our great-great-grandkids, because what we do now takes years to get rolling, to get to a potential, you know, high climax where it finally got to where it was rolling with good steam. So a lot of people, unfortunately, think of only now. I want it now. We can't do conservation biology in the now. We can work now, but the goals take a while. It's like personal training. I used to do personal training. If you have a weight loss goal, you can't get it in the first week. It might take you 6 months. It might take you a year. You'll get there, but you got to work every day for the future. And that's the same thing with conservation biology, but we're talking years. Some areas could take a decade to get back to what was considered a pre-colonial time, or 100 years. It takes a lot of work, and you got to stay diligent. So the longleaf pine is a example of diligence, of being persistent. So I like the longleaf pine. I love live oak, southern magnolia. I've been seeing a lot of southern magnolia. They're really pretty. Have that big white flower. I haven't showcased them yet, but you'll probably see southern magnolia. Live oaks are great. There's a lot of great trees in the south. There's a lot of great trees everywhere, but the longleaf has a special spot right here. Anyway, we're still trying to find American alligator. The rain has stopped. That's kind of nice since I'm pretty soaked. And we're just gonna keep moving along. I just wanted to talk about longleaf. It's a good example of, you gotta think way down the line. That you have to be like, not, you know, can't be selfish. You gotta think about somebody else, like your great-great-great-grandkids, because that's who you're gonna be doing this for. Talk to you in a little bit. Okay. Well, we're at another common site where I find American alligators. We even got a sign right here, forewarning of the dangers of tampering with alligators, the danger. So, yeah, do not feed or molest alligators. I have seen some pretty big ones here at Conservation Park, so we do not want to feed them and have them get used to humans being a food source. So this is all part of the water runoff from the discharge stations. This is working its way up. Gonna make its way out to the bay. Good flow today. I have seen snakes. I have seen turtles. I have seen turtle eggs here where a raccoon has come over. I got photos of that. Where right here, a raccoon dug up a turtle nest and raided all the eggs and ate them all. Turtle eggs are a delicacy for a lot of animals, so they need, you know, they bury their eggs. Right, it was right here. They bury their eggs, and then it's just a numbers game that hopefully they don't get sniffed out by a predator. And once they hatch, it's still a tough road to get to adulthood. So turtles do lay a few eggs, especially if it's a slider or a cooter or whatever it might be. But turtles definitely live in here. I mean, turtles are prey for a large gator. Definitely can get a good chomp by a gator and crack that shell if willing. So just a beautiful little creek. I like it. I have on occasion, don't do what I do, just see what I do. See what I do, but don't do what I do. But I do like to walk out into precarious positions. And the water flows under there. We got really great current coming through right through here. Really pretty. I don't typically see the gators on this side because of the flow. I find water snakes right here, but like the banded water snake. But typically the gators are on the other side. I mean, it makes sense because of the way the flow goes underneath the road. But and they put the sign on the appropriate side. But not saying there can't be an alligator here. I've just never seen an American alligator here. So on that note, let's get out of here. I don't want to be the victim today for my stupidity, because I can be a little foolish. But I try to keep my head screwed on just enough to get by without a whole lot of scratches. So really cool. A lot of these plants have to handle what kind of conditions, folks? Inundated, which means you're underwater, usually wet and saturated. So very cool. I have seen many a reptile, many amphibian, plenty of frogs. I just saw a bunch of southern cricket frogs. We'll put that into the video. Really cool little frog. They're way smaller than the southern leopard frog we saw at St. Andrews State Park. Very cool. Now this is pretty flooded. Like for instance, that water yardstick out there, it measures the depth of the water. That's actually, I've seen it way lower than that. So the flood banks here, the side banks, they're pretty full. I've walked right on this edge here, so it's definitely saturated, definitely full. So anyway, I don't see any heads. I don't see any movement. Gators might be somewhere else. So we're gonna keep going. It's been kind of a dreary day, but that's how it goes. I come out on these ventures not knowing what's gonna happen, and I bring you along, and you get me. You get my personality. So very cool. Looking forward to the next installment in the comic book movie franchises. I believe Venom, Let There Be Carnage is coming up soon. Can't wait. Love me my comic book movie. I also like me a pretty good horror movie, science fiction movie. Okay, drama movie. Comedies are good. Okay, I like all movies. I did study film for just a microsecond, but definitely love my comic book movies. I used to draw comics when I was really young. So all the comic book characters, your X-Men, your Avengers, Batman, Superman, all of it. So anyway, look forward to Venom. So we're gonna keep going. We're heading back to where we saw the gator, the little baby gator from yesterday. And then we'll just kind of conclude there and head our way back to the vehicle. And that will conclude Conservation Park. There's a lot of great small captures of wildlife and plants that will add to this adventure. It's always beautiful coming out to Conservation Park. Let's keep going. Okay, well, if you know where to look, you look up high, you might find yourself some tree frogs. And I got myself a green tree frog, a couple of them. Nope, I think I got a green tree frog and a gray tree frog. All right. Nope, I might have a squirrel tree frog. Okay, so a lot of tree frogs have very similar markings, but this looks like a squirrel tree frog right here. And he's like, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, now over here, let's see, do we have a gray? That looked like a gray. Right up there. He's freaking out. Now, there's a couple tree frogs that have a gray phase. Even the green tree frog can have a little bit of gray on it. Or squirrel tree frog. But like a true gray tree frog has a certain kind of like bird poop look. But they're here underneath this this kiosk. Where the sign is, so they can get out of the rain. And they're all hiding up in here. And I see a bunch of mud hornets, the mud hoppers. You can see their nests, a little like a cocoon, mud cocoons where they're gonna lay their larvae. If you got a garage down in the south, like in Florida, you'll like there. I see a bunch over here. Those hornets go get mud and then they make their nests. But I also see we got a bunch of tree frogs who are getting out of the rain, living up here. I think I at least had a squirrel tree frog and a gray tree frog. There's gray tree frogs, they can handle the cold. They go all the way up to Canada. Squirrel tree frogs and green tree frogs stay more in the southeastern United States. We have a really interesting like subspecies called the Cope's gray tree frog. Really, the only way it differs from the gray tree frog is its call. It's got a distinct call that's different from the typical gray tree frog. But very cool. All right, let's try to find this guy right there. And we're off, continuing. Got a little ground skink, a little brown ground skink, and they are itty bitty. And he's right in front of me. I'm gonna see how close I can get. They are fast. He's like 2 or 3 inches in length. I'm fairly close. He's being awesome with the camera. They are itty bitty. They don't get much more bigger than that, maybe another inch or 2. Little brown skink. Very cool. I see them here and there. They're pretty common. All right, let's continue on to American alligator. Okay. I just spooked a couple gators, but we got one that's sitting right on the bank. Okay. Let's see how close we can get. He's right in front of us. I got an alligator right in front of us. Oh, I've got a bunch. This is, if you can look right there, I got a couple that are at the edge. Okay, we don't want to startle them. I'm gonna be very quiet. You watch the camera. Right out there, do you see them? So I have counted 4 baby crocodiles. Only. One. I see 2 right there. 2, 3. We got 4. I have seen 10 or 12 here. But this is what I wanted to show you. You guys see those bands on the tail? The babies have some pretty bright colors when they're born. It's good camouflage, and those colors will fade with time. We'll get more of that black, gray slate. Okay, let's see. This guy's gonna swim off. So someday these guys will have to start finding their own ponds, their own areas, because they'll start getting extremely territorial. They need to find their own batch of water that's theirs, that has their food source, that they will defend. Males will find females, and the whole process starts all over, and we have more babies. The apex predator of Florida. Well, at least on land. Oh, and those two right there just got startled, and I've got two right here that are going over to those banks. Now, this is on this side of the road. Let's see what we've got going on over here. I have got two babies directly in front of me. Oh, I got three. Check out the pattern on this guy's tail. I got three babies in front of me. That's 7. Look at that. Well, I would have to say today, today was a success. So I do have to say, we did it. We made it. We found our gators. They came out. These are not adult alligators. They're only about 2, working their way to 3 feet, but they're on their way. I have seen the subadult to adults here. I may have even seen their mother once or twice. So let's see how close they're going to let us get. Because I'm going to go real slow. And then they're going to do what I'm hoping they're going to do. They're going to be startled by a human and run away. That's what you want. You don't want them to be comfortable with humans. You don't want them to be wanting to come for food. You want them to run away. Let's see if we got a nice, natural, healthy alligator response. They also might just be waking up because there hasn't been any sun today. Ta-da! That's what I wanted. I wanted a healthy defense mechanism to humans. I want them to get the heck out of here. So I do have to say, we did it. We made it. We found our gators. They came out. These are not adult alligators. They're only about 2, working their way to 3 feet, but they're on their way. I have seen the subadult to adults here. I may have even seen their mother once or twice. So let's see how close they're going to let us get. Because I'm going to go real slow. And then they're going to do what I'm hoping they're going to do. They're going to be startled by a human and run away. That's what you want. You don't want them to be comfortable with humans. You don't want them to be wanting to come for food. You want them to run away. Let's see if we got a nice, natural, healthy alligator response. They also might just be waking up because there hasn't been any sun today. Ta-da! That's what I wanted. I wanted a healthy defense mechanism to humans. I want them to get the heck out of here. I do not want to associate me with safety or food or something that they can get accustomed to and then want to explore themselves or to investigate, because that's when you have trouble. So that's a good, healthy response. I'm happy with that. These are alligators that know people are predators and are dangerous and they need to flee. So I hate to break it, but we are. Okay, well, that concludes our mission at Conservation Park, ladies and gentlemen. We did it. We did it big time. We did it. So, all right. So I'm doing the 2-camera deal here. Okay. So good job. We did it. So we came to Conservation Park. We learned a lot. We saw a lot of cool animals, and we got to see the American alligator at the spot that I thought it might be at. So they are, you can see right over my shoulder, right there. They go to that bank, and they're going to try to take in some sun. So anyway, very cool. So this is my first episode. We did the pilot, kind of feel all this out. I'd like to thank you for coming on this adventure with me. I am going to try to do many, many more with some kind of goal, animal or plant. I don't want y'all to think that plants are not important. They are important. They tend to stand still or hold still. They're easier to kind of find if you know where they are. The wildlife tend to, they move. So, but it'd be really cool to have a target plant in one of these episodes. But we did it. We came and we saw the American alligator. And I counted 7. 4 here and then the 3 on this side of the road. And this is just like their nursery. This is where they're going to grow up to the point where they need to separate and be more territorial for their own waters. So I hope this inspires you for wildlife and plant life. We do actually had a fungus too in our adventure. It was a shelf fungus. I believe it's like an oyster fungus. So go have your own adventures. I hope this inspires you to appreciate, or if you already do love nature or are any passionate about it, I hope it just furthers it even further. Furthers it even further. I just hope it gets you out of the house. Hope it makes you go explore. Be kind to someone. Be good out there. Explore. And I will catch you guys next time on episode 2 of The Adventures of Scotty Armstrong. Oh, if you could subscribe, like the video, I would appreciate it. All right, I will catch you guys next time. Okay, everybody, right in front of me is a golden silk spider. I talked about them yesterday. They get pretty big. This one is a little out of my reach, off the path, but I got it on camera, and I'm going to back out real slow. I want you to see just how big this guy is. You can see that he is just suspended up in the air. I have this pine tree just behind it, so you can kind of get that, just how large this thing is, because he's easily 6 feet off the ground, and they're an orb weaver, and they make a gigantic web. And I like taking these guys, put them in my hand. I think they're cool. I've never been bit by them. I don't think they can really cause a whole lot of damage. Again, that's see what I do, but don't do what I do. But very cool. If they're a little closer, I will try to get this guy for a close-up. But very cool species. I always love golden silk spiders. Definitely makes me think of the South, makes me think of Florida. But they get fairly big. I'll put them in my hand, and they'll fill up my hand fairly well. Get about 4 or 5 inches from tip of leg to tip of leg. Very, very cool orb weaver, golden silk spider. I mean, he is out there, and he's got a big old net waiting for anything to fly by. And I usually find a couple of these guys together. You'll find many of them all webbing in the same area. You'll see a couple small boys, small males next to the female, the large female. So you can see this tree, and in that tree, she has made such a large web that it is between all this. That's amazing. That's like a 10-foot span, and she's got lines going up, back to her core, back to this pine tree, and down here. So very cool. I got her right in the center, and she is a biggie. You can see her right there in the center of the screen. That's her. Very cool. I'm gonna try to get a better close-up for future, but we got to continue on. Lots to see.